welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagwani. I am from Department of Computer Science, Arabic College, University of Delhi. So our today's topic in this ongoing series of programming in Java is inheritance. So inheritance, when we say, let us start from here, that you all are aware that Java is actually an object oriented programming language, and inheritance is one of the, I can say, an important pillar or a cornerstone of object oriented programming languages, any language it could be. Why? Because it allows a programmer to create hierarchical classifications. That means hierarchical classification in terms of classes, in the sense that a programmer can create a general class, and then that is going to define the traits or the characteristics which are common to a set of related items, and then this class can be inherited by other subclasses, or we can say more specific classes, and the specific classes or the subclasses will each of them will add the points or the characteristics which are unique to them. So let us try to understand this inheritance with the help of an example. So for example, I am having a class vehicle, which is a kind of a general class, and it is having defining all the characteristics of a vehicle. For example, engine capacity, or it could be color, or it could be model or something of that sort. Now when we talk about the this will be called as a general class, or more specifically we can call it as a super class. Then when we talk about the subclasses, so this class can be inherited by other subclasses. For example, the subclasses could be truck, or could be car, or could be jeep. So now whatever the important or unique characteristics related to car are there, that will be added by that particular subclass. Then whatever unique characteristics are there which are belonging to the truck, they will be added, those points will be added by the truck subclass, but the vehicle will be called as a general class, and the more specific classes will be truck, jeep, or car. So going with the terminology, a class which is inherited is called a super class, and a class that does the inheriting is subclass. So one which is being inherited is super, and the another one which is actually inheriting the other class is the subclass. So vehicle here will be as a super class, and the jeep, truck, and the car will be subclasses. So in a way we can say a subclass is actually a specialized, a specific version of a superclass, and it is going to inherit the members defined by the superclass. It will not only inherit the members defined by the superclass, but it will also add its own unique elements. As I have told you that, for example, vehicle will be the class which is having general traits of the vehicle, but truck, let's say for example, number of tires, that's very specific with truck. So that will be that's kind of a unique element that will be added by the subclass truck. So the superclass, then we have the subclasses, the specialized version of the superclass, and subclasses will inherit all the members defined by the superclass. Here all is actually, I can say, we can take here the term all as the double inverted commas, because soon we will be kind of trying to will try to see it from the lens of the access modifiers, that what all members, which all members I can say. So for example, public, private, what all members can be inherited by the subclass and what all can not be inherited. So your subclass inherit all the members defined by the superclass, also add its own special characteristics. And now comes to the syntax, that how are we going to do this in a program. So in order to inherit a class, we need to simply incorporate the definition of one class into another, and this can be easily done by using the keyword. That keyword is nothing but extends. So here it goes, EXTEND, ds, and the general form of a class declaration that inherits a superclass is shown here on the screen. So we have the class subclass name. So for example, class car. This is with reference to what the example which we have just taken. So class car extends vehicle. So vehicle here will be the superclass and the subclass will be the car, and then there will be the body of the class which is going to belong to the class car. Now let us see this with the help of a complete example, that how it is going to work in a full-fledged program. So here we have a class A in which there are two members, two instance variables, one is I, another one is j, and there we have one method, one instance method which is void show ij, and this is actually doing nothing but this is defining system.out.println I and j, and it is also printing the value of I and j both. As you can see, the value of I and j are something which is out of the inverted commas. So here the function show ij is getting closed and also the class A is getting closed, and that this is shown with the help of two curly braces. Now this class A will act or will behave as a superclass, and this superclass will be kind of inherited, or we can say will be extended by a subclass, and that subclass is nothing but named as B. So we will say class B extends A, and within this class B we are going to define its own properties, its own unique elements, and all those unique elements are k, and then k which is an instance variable of type integer, and then void show k which is a method which is printing the value of the variable k. So here we have taken two classes, one is A which is with the two variables I and j and an instance method which is printing the value of I and j, and then another which is the subclass of this class A. So class A here is the superclass. So class B extends A, and it is having one instance variable which is k, and another method which is show k, and that show k method is printing the value of k. Now if you can see, this class B, class A is having ij and show ij. Now this class B will be having k, show k, which are uniquely defined by itself. Apart from this k and show k which are defined by itself, it is also having two instance variables which are I and j, and one method which is show ij. So now whatever is defined in A is going to be we can say inherited by B also. So now B is having I, j and k, in which k is its own element, I and j are inherited, while show ij and show k are the methods available with class B, in which show ij is an inherited method and show k is a method which is defined by its by its own definition. Also, before closing the definition of this class B, we will have one more function into this which is printing, which is named as sum, and this is printing the value of I, j and k. So if this program is going to work fine, which it will, I am sure. So here this sum function which is defined inside the class B is accessing I and j and k, all the three elements. So that essentially means that I and j are inherited from A, and k we have its own unique element, and then we have we can say the closure of this function sum as well as the closure of this class B. So now this class B is having three variables, one is I, another one j and k, and the two the three methods, one is the sum, another one is the show ij, and third one is show k. Now in order to use these both of two classes, we need to define another class in which we are going to use, or in which we are going to define the main function, and that main function is going to play around with the objects of this superclass A and the subclass B. And let us see how. So we have a class, we have named it as simple inheritance, and within that we have a main function which is defined as usual as public static void main, and the command line variables are string args, and the utility of these command line variables and also the importance we have also seen in our previous lecture. So now we'll try to create objects of the two classes. So we have two classes, one is A, another one is B, and we are going to create two objects, or we can say two reference variable to the objects of the class A, which is one is named as super OB, that's an object of class A, and another one is named as sub OB, which is the object of the class B. So here A super OB is equals to new A, that's the standard kind of way of creation of the objects we have seen since so many programs. Then we have B sub B is equals to new B, and followed by parenthesis, which is actually going to be get converted into a call to the constructor. So super OB dot I is equals to 10 and super OB dot J is equals to 20. So that means through the object of the class A, we are going to initialize, or we are going to assign the values to the variable I and J, and then by calling a show ij, which is actually a function which is defined inside A, we are going to print the values, or we are going to print the value of the variables I and J, and this can be done by super OB dot show ij, where show ij is the method which is printing the value of I and J, and super OB is nothing but the object or the reference variable which we have just created, and it is pointing towards an object of A. And then we need to see the utility of the class B, which is nothing but is the subclass of this superclass A, and it is going to have access to, we can say, all the public members of its superclass. So sub obj dot I is equals to 7, sub ob dot j is equals to 8, and sub ob dot k is equals to 9. So basically what are we doing here? We are going to assign I, j and k using the object of the subclass, where k is actually the variable which is available inside the subclass, while I and j are the variables which are inherited by the subclass and are originally belonging to the superclass. But this is perfectly valid to use because these are actually, we can say we have not specified any access specifier. If we would have specified private or something else, then it would have been a constraint, but as of now with default access mode, we can always access I and j by using the object of the subclass, which is B. So sub ob dot I, as we did super ob dot I, then sub ob dot j is equals to 8, and we also did super ob dot j is equals to something, then sub ob dot k is equals to 9, and then we are actually calling both the functions, that means the function show k and the function show ij, where the function show ij is the function which is available with the superclass inherited by the subclass, and show k is the function of the we can say of the subclass. It is the function of the subclass of its own, I can say. And then we are also calling the sum function with the object of the subclass. So here, in order to see the structure once again, we have I and j with class A, show ij with class A. We have B, which is extending A, so now k is its own member we have show k, we have also, we also have sum. So now your B is having the 3 members I, j and k, and apart from these 3 instance members, it is also having show I, j, show k and the function sum, where sum and show k are its own and show I, j is kind of, we can say, inherited. And we're using the object which is created super ob dot I, which is the object of class A. We are accessing I, j and the method show I, j, while in just at the next instance we are using the object which is the sub ob of class B, sub ob dot I dot j dot k, and not only this but show I, j, show k and sum we are also using with sub ob. And as expected, we can say the output from this program will be, first of all, the contents of the super object will be printed, which are I and j, the values of I and j, and these are printed by virtue of show I, j, which is being called with the help of super ob. So this is a portion which is belonging to, I can say, the class A, which is the super class. Then when we started with the subclass and its object which is sub ob, so sub ob dot I, sub ob dot j and sub ob dot k, that we have kind of assigned, and after assigning we have used show I, j. So as a result of we can say using show I, j with the sub object, it is giving 7 and 8 because these are the recent values which are being given to the I and j belonging to sub ob. Then k is equals to 9 because sub ob dot k is equals to 9, that was we have assigned. And then with the help of the sum function, it is going to give us sum of I, j and k in the sub object is equals to 24, which is nothing but 7 plus 8 plus 9. So all the values which are corresponding to I, j and k with reference to sub ob are being added and the answer is being printed. So the bottom line is your super class is having some instance variables and some methods, and your subclass is going to define its own variables and its own methods. Also this subclass is going to inherit the variables and the methods from the superclass also, provided this is within the limitations of our access modifiers. That the limitations of those access modifiers we will be looking in our kind of our upcoming class. So basically we have created a hierarchy of inheritance in which a subclass becomes a we can create a hierarchy of inheritance in which a subclass becomes a superclass of another subclass. So what I am trying to say here is we can have 3 classes or even more. So we have class A, then we have class B, and then we have class C. So class B is extending class A, whereas your class C is extending class B. But here we need to be very, very careful that no class can be a superclass of itself. This is being superclass of itself is not allowed for any of the classes. Now with this kind of, I can say, establishment or this platform of your inheritance, that what actually inheritance is and how it is functioning within the we can say within the purview of superclass and subclasses, let us move forward and look into this inheritance by using the lens of the member access. So although a subclass include all the members of its superclass, it cannot access those members of the superclass that have been declared as private. And this is what I was talking a few minutes before, that we need to do whatever we need to do within the purview of your kind of access specifiers or within the limitations of the access specifier. And here is a program demonstrating the concept which I have just kind of elaborated. So here we have a class which is actually a superclass, and this program deliberately is made in such a way that it is going to contain an error and will not compile. Where and how, that I'll be telling you in a short while. So we are going to create a superclass. So we have integer I. So we can say it is kind of, as of now you can say it is public, but actually in Java we can say it is a package private. And then we have private which is an integer which is j, and if we are saying private, that means this is private to a, while integer I is kind of by we can say default. So default here is the public package private. And then we have set ij, which is taking two variables as the parameters and assigns the value of x to I and the value of y to j. So we have two members, one is kind of we can say package private, and another one is the private, and both these members are being kind of set to their values by the two parameters of the function set ij, and this is also being done inside the function set ij, which is I is equals to x. That means the value of x is being assigned to I and the value of y being assigned to j. Now here comes into the picture a class B, which is going to extend class A. So now you all must have understood by this time that class B is actually a subclass and class A is actually a superclass, and class B is extending A, and it is kind of adding one more member or the instance member, which is total, and one more instance method which is sum, and within this sum it is going to make a total, or it is going to add up the value of I and j. Now the variables I and j, these are not belonging to B, these are actually belonging to A and are being, we can say, inherited in the class B, but j is not accessible here because j was kind of, if you can notice the access specifier of j, this is private. So when we are saying it is private, that means this can be accessed only within this class in which it is declared, but B is actually a class which is different from A. So here if we can say total is equals to I plus j, that essentially means that sum I and j will be or sum of I and j will be assigned to the variable total. We can say j is not accessible here, and this statement particularly is going to give us error. Would not have been this, we can kind of we could have used this particular situation as we did in our previous program, which is the class one more class, and within the class we have our public static void main, which is the main function, created one sub object of the created one object belonging to the subclass which is B, used sub ob dot set ij and given 10, 12. So here this is fine, but whenever we are going to use a sum and sum is being used with the object of the subclass, this is going to give an error because while using this sum through the sub object, this is going to give you error because j is not available with the sub object, because j is actually a private variable and it is private to class A. So this program will not compile because we have used the variable j inside the sum method of B, which is taking a total of the two, and this is going to cause an access violation. Why this is going to cause an access violation? Because j is declared as private and it is only accessible by the members of its own class, and subclasses will not have any access to the private members. So here in our next step, so till this point we have seen what actually this excess, what actually inheritance is, considering it as a very important cornerstone or very important pillar of object oriented programming paradigm. We have also seen that how to write simple programs of our inheritance, in which we have a small superclass which is being extended by another subclass, and with the help of our second program what we have seen is what is the role of excess modifiers in terms of inheritance. So that means whenever there is a private variable which is obviously being declared private in a particular superclass, any subclass which is going to inherit that superclass will not be able to access that private variable, because private variables are accessible only by the members of that particular class in which they are to which they are belonging, we can say. So similarly, for the same reason, subclasses have no access to the private members of the superclasses, and hence our just the previous program is not going to compile because of this similar reason. Now in our next class we will be using this constructors along with the inheritance, and we will be seeing that what is going to be an effect of inheritance when there are constructors corresponding to the subclasses and there are constructors corresponding to the superclasses also, and what will be the hierarchy of we can say execution of constructors. That we are going to see in our next class. This is the list of references which is being used for the preparation of lecture. Hope you have enjoyed this one. I'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Goodbye.